Welcome to this week's Ask GMBN. Now, the other guys are out riding, so I'm holding the thought here in the dirt shed, but I'm ready to answer your questions, which of course we've been finding in the comment section down below the Ask videos and from the hashtag AskGMBN. So let's get into it. First question is from Matthew McDonald. He's relatively new to mountain biking. He's got himself a Specialized Enduro 29er, very nice. He's wondering, is it worth him shelling out on a full face helmet? Good question. Really comes down to what type of riding you're doing. If you're riding mainly cross-country stuff or fire roads, full face probably isn't required. But if you're riding gravity type riding, bike parks, you're trying a bit of enduro, at the end of the day, you've only got one face, so it's worth looking after. And if that's the case, then a full face helmet could be the right thing for you. They're slightly heavier, of course. They haven't got the same kind of ventilation, but you could look at an enduro full face helmet, which tends to be the lightest version of full face helmets, and it has got lots of ventilation. So that could be worth a look at. But think about what type of riding it is you're doing, and if you really are requiring that full face protection. Hope that's helpful. Next question is from Cosmic Cat, and he's saying, should he change his 2x10 Dior setup drivetrain to a 1x11 or 1x12 Eagle system? Good question. 1x is brilliant. The SRAM NX and GX systems are pretty affordable ways of getting into the 1x drivetrains, but I did ask Doddy about this, and he suggested, what about looking at a Sunrace wide range cassette for your Dior drivetrain that you have at the moment and turning that into a 1x system? So that's a really affordable way of doing it, so that's worth thinking about. While we're talking about 1x drivetrains, let's take a look at the first time GMBN had a look at that SRAM NX and GX system.
SRAM had to re-engineer everything to make this 1x12 system possible last year. So from the chain to the chainring, the rear mech, and obviously that cassette, they actually found that they'd made their most durable drivetrain ever.
All right, next question is anonymous actually, which is suspicious, but let's get into it anyway. It's, hi, should I buy the Scott Ransom 930 or any downhill bike? I enjoy downhill and bike parks, but I also want to pedal. Now that's an interesting question because it's actually very rare these days that you need a full downhill bike. You can do so much with modern trail bikes and enduro bikes. They're so capable. For example, Neil loves his Scott Ransom. He actually rode that at Finale EWS round this year, racing against all the pros. That bike's so capable. So I think unless you're riding solely downhill tracks, then you don't really need a downhill bike, and if you want to do some pedaling uphill, then something like Scott Ransom is a really good idea, or anything in that kind of category, because downhills do not climb well at all. So that would be my advice. Yeah, maybe steer clear of downhill unless you know it's what you want to do. Next question is from Robert McKinnon, and he says, I have a dilemma. Nightmare. When I go riding these days, I feel like I've got no grip on my pedals, okay? The pedals are about a year old. Could they have worn out, or is it the footwear that's wrong? He's got a thick sole on the footwear, a bit like running shoes. Do I need a new pair of shoes, or have the pedals worn out? Well, you know what, Robert? It's very unlikely that the pedals have worn out, unless it's a plastic pedal or a solid sort of cast metal pedal without pins. Then it could have worn down a bit and got a bit slippery. If that pedal has got pins though, it's very unlikely the pedal itself has worn out. So it could be the shoes and the pedal aren't collaborating well together. So maybe look at a different type of footwear, something like a 510, or recently Northwave have just brought out their new shoe, which is a really great shoe. It's called the Clan, and that shoe is similar to a 510. It's got really great sole that's designed to work with pedal with pins. Or if you are using one of those cheaper pedals, a plastic pedal or a cast pedal, then maybe look at something like the Crank Brothers Stamp. That's a really great flat pedal. Something like that is going to give you a fantastic contact point between the shoe and the pedal itself. Now, it's interesting that you brought up that your pedals might be wearing out, because let's have a look at a way that you can get more grip from your pedals in this video that Neil did.
I think you actually really want to run these pins quite low and quite close to the pedal. If you start to pull them out too much and run them really high, you actually get so much grip that if you occasionally slide around on the pedal like you will do on a really rough track, it's then really difficult to readjust your pedals.
Okay, let's keep going because we've got some great questions coming up, and we're also going to be looking at some correct me if I'm wrong videos later in the show. Right, next question is from Michael Riggerman, and he's saying, I'm from Germany and I've been skiing since I was a little kid. I've got some great skiing goggles, Uvex ones, that are laying around. They do work with his full face mountain bike helmet, that they fit nice and snug. Is it okay to ride mountain biking with skiing goggles? If they fit pretty snugly in that helmet, Michael, then as long as it's got a clear lens, then it's probably fine. The only difference you're going to find is they're probably not as well ventilated as a mountain bike goggle. So obviously they're for use in colder times. So a mountain bike goggle would be better ventilated. That would be the only difference. If you've got a tint on that lens, the tint for a skiing goggle is probably aimed more at white colours, trying to help you bring out the contours in the ground from lots of white snow. So that wouldn't necessarily help you on the trail when you're riding mountain biking. A mountain biking tinted goggle would obviously be helping you bring out browns and greens with that tint, because that's what you'd be seeing riding in the summer. So if it's got a clear lens, it could work. If it hasn't, then probably wouldn't advise it. Next question is from Big Boy. Show off. Can y'all explain why you don't ride BMX bikes on mountain bike trails? My dad's an old BMX guy and doesn't understand why people need expensive bikes with suspension. You know what, Big Boy? I reckon your dad's trying to get out of buying you a full suspension mountain bike for Christmas. That's what I think he's doing. BMX bikes are a very different beast to a mountain bike. They're actually designed, as much as they originated in being the first kind of off-road bikes, they kind of are designed now for riding quite smooth surfaces. Skate parks, dirt jumps tend to be actually very smooth, except for the big gaps in between the takeoff and landing. And obviously BMX tracks are actually very smooth in terms of the actual terrain that the jumps are built on. So they don't suit really rough, hardcore, rocky, rooty, steep downhill tracks. And of course they don't climb well. BMX geometry is not designed for you to sit down and pedal easily up a hill. And the gearing, of course, can't be changed because their BMX is single speed. So there's lots of advantages to a BMX on the courses they're designed for, but when you take them out to an off-road scenario that is true mountain biking, they really don't work. You'll find it quite a hard bike to control and to use just in that utility. So yeah, try a mountain bike for a day. You'll probably see why that full suspension and all those gears really work out quite well. Abram Schilling says, so I've been trying to get my bunny hop higher. Good for you, great skill to learn. But it's hard for me to get my weight back because I'm scared of looping out. Any tips? Okay, looping out on a bunny hop. Now, that's actually kind of hard to do. So I wouldn't worry about it too much, because it's not like a wheelie. When you wheelie, you use your power from your drivetrain and you power the wheel into the air. But on a bunny hop, you're rolling along and then you've just got to lift that front wheel just with your arms, your upper body, and bending low at the rear and bringing the front end up. Now, to loop that out, you've got to put an awful lot of force in. It's actually quite difficult to do. On a bunny hop, you don't want your weight to get that far back to the point you could loop out. You're bringing that front end up, and then as it gets to about 35 degrees, you're going to be lifting the back up. So, you know, you're a long way from that loop out point. So you're coming in, and as it comes up there, you're then going to unweight the back end and lift yourself up. So looping out is pretty unlikely. But let's take a look at this video where I showed you how to build yourself a hopometer, which would help you improve your bunny hop. Let's take a look.
The best thing about using this is riding with your mates. They're going to push each other on and get higher and higher. And I promise, the more confidence you get with that bunny hop, the better it's going to get.
Now, if it's okay with you, I'm not doing a quick fire round this week because basically I've got no one to quick fire at, you know? It's like Gemma's asking, yeah, you know, you get my point. We have got Ryan. He's riding a Trek Remedy in the New Forest in the UK, in Hampshire. I'm having trouble with my bunny hops. This is interesting because we were talking about bunny hops earlier on. When the bar gets to around 18 inches, I start to lose my footing on the pedals coming down. That's interesting. Like the bike is falling quicker than me. How do I stop this? I feel I can go higher, but my technique seems okay over the bar until I'm coming down. Well, this is interesting. Let's take a look. Nice, riding in a skate park. Oh, lovely slow-mo version, so I can really see what's going on. Great looking bunny hop. Great looking bike and kit, actually. Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, right. Okay, so you're getting a really big bunny hop. It actually looks pretty good. Your technique's pretty strong. I quite like how you're using an upslope in that skate park to help with your bunny hop, because that's a really great idea, because you learn the bunny hop much quicker if you learn it on an upslope that then levels off, because it helps you exaggerate the movement of like leaning back and taking off. Now, midway through your bunny hop, it looks pretty good. As I pause it there and you level out, it's all great. I think what's happening is that basically the higher the bunny hop goes, and you're doing, like you said, 18 inches there, which is a pretty big bunny hop, the higher the bunny hop goes, you actually need to increase your speed, because obviously your bike's got to cover a lot more distance, and the more height you get, you need more speed to cover the distance. So you're really stretching at this extreme height to get up over the bar, but you haven't got quite enough speed. So the bike's starting to hang, and you're losing your grip of the bike between your handlebars and the pedals themselves, because what you need to be doing when you're at that top point is be pushing forward and up with your wrists like that, and backwards and scooping action with your toes on the pedals. Where you're losing speed, the bike's kind of stalling, and you've lost that kind of pinch of holding the bike there. So slightly more speed coming in, you need to be quicker with your timing to get that height, so it's more of a pop, but because you've got more speed going forward, you'll be able to hold that bike in that position and clear the jump. I hope that helps, so try a little bit more speed and really think about exaggerating that twist with your wrists, holding that bike up and pinning it up under your feet, and your feet are pushing back slightly, and I think you'll be able to hold that bike there. I hope that works. But it is a great looking bunny hop at the moment, so I wouldn't beat yourself up too much. Now, lastly for this week, we have got Andrew, who's riding a Specialized Enduro Elite. And this is at Chicksands, also in the UK. Got a friend to film me on this jump at Chicksands. I want to progress, but I always feel like I'm going to fly over the bars. It also feels awkward and I'm kind of out of control slightly. Any tips? Right, let's take a look. Lots of speed. Oh, little jitter before takeoff. And yeah, you got a little bit out of control there as you landed. You got kind of kicked out of the landing. So what happens when you get kicked? Okay, here's the bike again. As you come out of the landing, the back end got kicked, and that's because you basically didn't move through the takeoff right with your timing over the bike, and your weight, as the front end come up of the jump, your weight sat back down into that rear end, and then it all compresses, and then as you come out the takeoff, it releases and throws you. So your weight kind of gets bucked forwards. I ride in a seated position all the time because I'm a wheelchair user and I'm strapped into my bike, and I get bucked all the time. So what's happening to you is something I'm dealing with all the time. You get bucked out of the takeoff, and you tend to find yourself not quite make the jump because it's taken all of the speed and inertia out of that takeoff, and you basically go up and then you land just before the down slope, and then you get bucked that second time, which is what happens to you there as you come in. I can see you're coming through the takeoff, you get bucked, boom, and then you're bucked again as you're landing. It's almost compelling the situation to happen down the trail. To avoid it on this jump, now that jump is actually kind of on a track that requires a lot of speed, so you'll probably find you get a little bit unsettled before you get to that takeoff, so it'd be worth thinking about that obstacle that's just before that and trying to get a smooth run through it so you've got your timing right on the takeoff. And in that jump, you don't need to be going that high because it's not a big kicky takeoff. You actually probably find that you want lots of speed and want to try and keep it low over that jump. So I come down through it with more speed. Think about getting the obstacle before it really smooth, then you'll have more time for that takeoff and you'll fly across that jump rather than get lots of height, because it's not a jump designed for a lot of height, but the speed and that low trajectory means you'll hit the down slope perfectly and carry on down the slope with excellent style. Thanks for joining us on Ask this week. I hope those answers have been helpful. Please give us any questions you've got about riding in the comment section down below, or in any of our videos, put hashtag AskGMBN, ask us a question. If you've got something you'd like us to take a look at, one of your riding videos, then please upload it to our uploader. The link is in the description down below and you can see it on screen just there. Follow that and you can upload to the correct me if I'm wrong tab, and we can take a look at those videos and try and correct you if we possibly can. Once again, thanks for joining us. Hit the subscribe button just here where you can stick with us and get all the notifications about when our new videos are out. Click just here to see Blake teaching Cy Richardson over from GCN how to ride a pump track. Great video just there with lots of technique and skill in it. Other than that, give us a thumbs up, like, and I'll see you on Ask another time. Take care.